we were talking about how you just were kind of bouncing along this trend line, and that once you broke, we would see a bigger drawdown. And sure enough, we did. But then we got a bounce late in the week, and you could arguably say that was due to a potential deal with Iran, although we've heard that a million times over. But it looks like oil is down now in the mid 80s, so it's really come down significantly. And then also the SpaceX IPO. If you know anything about the institutional money, they need an up market. You don't really sell or bring an IPO to public when the markets are collapsing. And so you have to really force the markets to get a rally, whether you do upgrades or whatever you have to do. You trigger that buy side mentality amongst retail to absorb all the shares that are coming public and make sure it's a great debut. And SpaceX was a great debut. There's no doubt about it. But the bottom line is we've bounced. Why did we bounce right here? Remember that parallel that I had shown you guys that we broke out of to the upside? It was a parallel that I thought might not break, but it ultimately did. Let's draw that in right now because this is just incredible. And again, this is the stuff that gets me to look at charts consistently and always. So here we put this trend line right here. And notice how, again, it's going right through pivot low. And then you can see you open below it here. And I don't know if you can see that, but then we close back above. Then we touch it here. Then we closed briefly below it here, but we never got a confirming candle. And then we tailed a tail flush through and it closed above. So that's how I would draw this trend line. Notice again, this is part, technique, science, and part art. But notice how I'm having it touch each of the points. 1, 2, 3, 4 after the initial one. So this is actually 5 hits of this trend line. But again, you could draw it down here, but then look, it misses here and it doesn't quite hit here. So it makes more sense to have it touch all the times because, number one, you never closed below it here and you only opened below and they recaptured it. It tells you it's significant. And also, there's a secondary little touch right there. Here's a touch. Here it closed below but never confirmed the breakdown. And here it just wicked below, essentially. Now, what I want us to do is take that parallel and extend it up. So, number one, look at how cool this is, all right? This is the stuff, again, that just is amazing. Look at how it goes right to this top, right to this low, right to that low. All right. And that's, again, it just basically gives us another pivot point or trend line to look at. But that's not the one we're looking at here. Extend it up, 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 up. Now look at this. Here we have another point where right here you hit, and then right over here you hit as well. And even right in there you hit as well. But that's not, again, what I want to show you. We bring it up even more. And listen, I could go through this constantly, right, with all of these points. But the one that I'm drawing your attention to is right up in this range, right? It's right here where we see it touch right over here. It goes there. And then look at as we came down right into that level right there. It kind of kisses here, touches right there, and then we kissed it right there. And that's where we got the bounce. So essentially, we have our parallel here, which was broken above. And what do we know about technical analysis, guys? All right. So this is, again, the educational stuff that I try to bring to you guys is so, so important. So when we have a parallel channel, okay, and we kind of are trading in that parallel, right, from the upper to the lower bands like this, and we break out, there's a tendency for us to come back to that level and then get a bounce. It's called a retrace to the scene of the crime. Now, the key is this. Is that when you get that, and that's exactly what's happened here, right? We can see we hit up here, and all the lows right through. We broke out, we've retraced, and we're getting a bounce. Now, what I'm watching for, there's a couple things that give me insights. So number one, as I told you guys last week, we had a low and we have a lower low. So that's not great in terms of the bullishness scenario. But what we don't have yet is a confirmed lower high. And that's really the break points. You can have lower lows, and then you can actually still have higher highs. It's called more of like a megaphone pattern for those of you that know the technical jargon. So again, essentially a megaphone pattern would be something like this, right? Where you have two trend lines that are going like this, and you have this. So you have lower low, but also a higher high. Lower low, higher high. Lower low, right? And that's actually okay. It shows more volatility, right? It's getting wider and wider the bigger the moves. But what we want to watch for here is as this bounce ensues, do we take out this high right here and make a higher high? Okay, well, then it's still a bullish market. Or do we go up and we stall out just shy? And do we come back in and make a lower low?